Welcome back, everybody, to the Pokemon SoulSilver playthrough. This is part 57, and we're going to be battling that crazy ninja of the Elite Four. It's Koga! And I love how I didn't mention this before the first time I battled him, but I love the whole rhyming scheme that he has when he talks to you at first. He's like, paralysis, confusion, poison, sleep. Prepare to be the victim of my sinister technique. Something like that. I just thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, so yeah, his first brand new Pokemon, it's the horrible, horrible Skuntank. Look at the posture on that thing. That is, I actually feel like I should be holding my nose battling this Pokemon. This is terrible. What were they thinking? I don't, anyway. Skunk Pokemon. You know, I was thinking to myself many times over the years how they haven't actually done, like, certain types of, like, animals as Pokemon. Like, there's no, like, actual dolphin Pokemon. There's no, like, I guess, like, a swordfish kind of Pokemon. You know, like a Marlin. Florida Marlins. Oh, no, that's right. No, they're not the Florida Marlins anymore. They're the Miami Marlins. Right. Yeah, I know. I couldn't make up something that horrible. I know, it's terrible. Anyway, so Espionage is going to totally confound this Skuntank with Substitute. He tried to use Toxic, which did not affect Substitute, obviously. And then he tried to use Sucker Punch, which, unless you do an attack that actually hits the opponent, Sucker Punch will not strike. So we got a couple of calm minds going on here, building up that special attack and defense, and Skuntank, you're an idiot. There's just no easy way to say that. That was just dumb. That's it for Skuntank. Moving on, splitting the EXP between Espionage and Fireball. Oh, right, that's why I had Fireball out. I wasn't like 100% sure on like what Pokemon he had out first. I thought it might have still been Ariados. You know, just maybe on a whim. So that's why I had Fireball out first. Venomoth using Silver Wind. That's going to be super effective against Espionage, which is not so much fun because then the Substitute is going to break. Never mind. Wow, that's a pretty weak Venomoth then. Well, no, it's a special attack, and Espionage's been building up his special defense, so yeah, you know, that makes sense. Calm Mind. What a badass attack that is. Remember, that came out in Generation 3, and I loved it because I had, Gardevoir. Of course, I mentioned this in the last part about Gardevoir, and I loved Calm Mind. It was devastating. Anyway, got a crazy-ass Toxic Croak out here, and I decided to just nail him as quickly as possible, despite having almost just barely enough to do an attack with the Life Orb. I had no idea what to expect from this Toxic Croak, so I just said, you know what, let me just take it out as quickly as I possibly can. To me, it just looks like a very powerful Pokemon. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't really have things open to check right now, and to be honest, I really don't care, but still. Look at him with this crazy Crobat. That's not better than bats in video games. Unfortunately, I don't have bats in video games at the moment. ATM, as it were. But hey, my Crobat's a lot better. Look at him using Fly, trying to be crazy and fancy and tricky. Oh, that reminds me about the battle against Blue a couple of parts ago. When his Machamp did Stone Edge while Crobat was flying, and it still hit. I forgot that he has that one ability called No Guard. I always forget about that. Just me. I was like, oh no, he got hit while he was in the middle of Fly. It must be Stone Edge's hacks, So, no, it's just the ability. I like how this Crobat is smart. Well, at least Koga or whoever. He decided to break the Substitute before using Mean Look. That was very, very smart. Because Crobat's a lot faster. So he goes first. That was very clever. Like that. He really baited me into that. Alright, let's get to a fancy shout out. Funky Student 101 says, my favorite Pokemon memory was when I first got the game at 5. And me and my two best friends got the game, and we each started out with one of the different starters. Mine was Charizard. That's pretty awesome. I really wish I had like 2 different friends to do that. I did mention that, I bought Red and Blue, and I let my friend borrow Blue, and I had Red. I believe I picked Bulbasaur. I believe he picked Squirtle. But, my memory might not be so keen on that one. He goes on to say, also, when we got it, we also went and saw the Pokemon movie. Ah, that was awesome. And I remember crying when Ash turned to stone and when the other Pokemon were crying. Oh, man, Yeah, it's a really rough scene. Especially when you're a kid. I mean, my God. My favorite Pokemon would be Raichu, because I used it in the original game and destroyed every gym and the Elite Four with it. Wait. No way. No, I'm calling nonsense. There's no way you beat every gym with just a Raichu and the Elite Four. Come on. Let's be honest here. Anyway, wait a minute. No, now that I think about it, Raichu doesn't just have electric attack, so maybe. Maybe. Did I not say Raichu the first time when he said his favorite Pokemon? Because it was Raichu. Can't remember if I said Rhyhorn for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Scatterbrain. Alright, so he's got his fancy Muck out. This is his final Pokemon. And man, Muck has a lot of HP. It's a tank, man. It's a gooey, gummy, slimy, purple tank. Nasty. 894 password says, my favorite memory was when I didn't have any game systems and still don't have any. And I was walking around in the grass in my cousin's game system and found a shiny Pokemon, and he stopped talking to his parents and was like, must catch shiny. My favorite Pokemon is Scizor. Oh yeah, what shiny Pokemon was that? Was that a shiny Ho-Oh? No, probably not. Okay. Look at me being a jerk about that shiny Ho-Oh. I'm still so psyched about it. I love that. It's the best. Killjoy8745 says, my favorite memory is when I beat the league with only a Ditto when I was a kid because my sister dared me to. And my favorite Pokemon has to be Ditto, as I catch it in every game because it is a frickin' sex slave. Okay, that's one interesting way of looking at Ditto's very useful ability to breed with any Pokemon. Yeah, you know, we're just getting weird in this playthrough with crazy memories. Man, this bug is still not taken down, man. This is ridiculous. I love how he just saves up his full restores and stuff for like his very last Pokemon. And yeah, just barely had enough. Oh wow, Black Sludge, neat. Just barely had enough HP to pull off that attack. And gonna have to use a Hyper Potion here. Wouldn't that be something else if you used a potion and the substitute's HP actually got restored? I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. But if it did, that'd be kind of broken. Oh yeah, do Toxic. Yeah, that worked so well when Skuntank did it. Great idea. Anyway, I think we are on the cusp of victory here. Yes, we are. One more Shadow Ball with absolutely devastating special attack from Espionage with love. Not really. It's the very hating kind of love. It's the tough love. Yeah, tough love. Knocking out that Muck and finishing off Elite Core wow. Elite Four Koga. What was it? Elite Core Foga? Wow. Oh, me. Alright. So we're moving on to the third of the Elite Four. It's Bruno. And I love how I didn't really mention this before, but the background, you know, I didn't really, like, blank out the Elite Four's faces before I got to them like the first time I did. Because, well, everybody... I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that everybody's been following along through at least most of the parts in this playthrough. Or at least have, like, played Gold and Silver, or HeartGold and SoulSilver, and know who the Elite Four are, so I figured, whatever. Alright, so booting up a TM. Now, this was the TM, of course, that I bought in Celadon City. I had to go back and buy. It was for Spikes 395. Getting rid of Spikes. Now, I gotta be completely honest here. This is actually the second time I'm recording this battle with Bruno. Because I kind of messed up the first time around, I was under the impression that Stealth Rock was pretty much identical to Spikes, in that you could do it 3 times and, you know, it would stack up. No, you can only do it once. Yeah. Like, it completely baffled me. Like, I did it once. I was like, okay, let me do it again, you know, stack up a second one. Like, it's like, it didn't work, whatever it says. I was like, wait a minute, what? And I kept doing it for like 5 turns. While this Hitmontop was like totally kicking Spikes 95's ass. I was like, yeah, you know, I think I'm just gonna restart this. That was just nonsense. Yeah, that was just silly. Now, another silly thing was, at the time, it seemed like it was a good idea to have Skarmory out because, you know, flying type, super effective against fighting. In hindsight, maybe that wasn't such a great idea because fighting is super effective against Steel. Yeah, well, he is still part flying, so it kind of cancels it out. So it's just a normal damaging one times attack. Whatever. You know what? Go ahead and use your full restore. See if I care. Kind of do, but, you know. Trying to move along. Honduran Production says, my favorite Pokemon memory isn't a memory, but more of stuff happening. Okay, that's kind of like a memory, but anyway. I was really bad at Pokemon when I first started. So I chose my starter, and as I progressed through the game and took any Pokemon that was a higher level than the one I had. Like if I had a Buizel and I found a higher level one, I would take that one instead. Because of this, I kept losing at the Elite Four. When I finally beat the Elite Four, my starter was level 86, and almost everything else was 40. Oh, my favorite Pokemon is Alakazam. I love how he just throws that in at the end. Oh yeah, my favorite Pokemon. Yeah, that was another thing. I think it was only when the 4th generation came out did I finally understand like how effort values worked, or EVs as I've been calling them in the playthrough. And of course, every time I say it, oh, not the Pokemon. But yeah, it's pretty important. At least it is in my mind. But still, that was you know, another pretty solid reason why. And I know I mentioned this before, why I didn't want to take that shiny Gyarados, because it would just have 0 effort values as opposed to UMAD, who already had a whole bunch by that point. So yeah, that's why I didn't want the shiny one. I loved how everybody was like getting on my case, like, why didn't you get the shiny one? It's shiny! You should get it because it's shiny and it's better! It's not. UMAD is better. UMAD. Chewy Chucky says, my favorite Pokemon memory was when one day my mom came back from shopping and gave me a Cubone keyring, which I immediately got caught over 2 of my fingers. Instead of trying to get the keyring off, I instead decided to sit there and watch the first showing of an episode of the Pokemon Series 1. I'm going to assume Season 1. It happened to be the one where Ash sees his first Cubone. After the show, I ran around the house screaming, Cubone! At the top of my voice for several hours, wielding my keyring above my head like a bone. Cubone. That was the episode, that was that episode with the weird, school, wasn't it? The one that, Giselle, that was her name. Yeah, that pretentious little girl. Ugh. God, she was terrible. And, she had, yeah, all those boys in the school would all follow her, and, like, Misty was getting all crazy, like, she's like, arr, 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 battle me, arr. And then, of course, Misty lost to, what was it? Yeah, it was her Cubone. No, that was versus Pikachu. Misty lost to a Rock-type Pokemon. Wasn't it Graveler or something? I think it was Graveler, yeah. Misty just got completely owned. Yeah, that was just weird. Anyway, so yeah, I believe, I am mistaken. Bruno still has 2 Pokemon left, and one of them happens to be Machamp. Pointed stones dug into the enemy Machamp. Yeah. You know, I like Stealth Rock, but it depends on the situation. You know, like, here it wouldn't be such a great idea because it really doesn't take so much damage off of them. But, it's element-based. It's Rock-type. So anything weak to Rock-type is definitely going to feel the brunt of that. Oh, look at his last Pokemon! How awesome! Lucario. Of all Pokemon, how awesome is that? I love that, how, you know, the Elite Four now have all of Generation 3 and 4 Pokemon. You know, I mean, I'm not really, like, a crazy Lucario fan. You know, I think I mentioned before, I was like, you know, Lucario doesn't really get me that much. But, you know, I'm kind of taking a shine to Lucario. It's pretty cool. Man, that Stealth Rock took almost nothing out of him, being half steel. I think that's another reason why he's so interesting, because he's half steel. I mean, how many Pokemon are half steel, you know? Not too many. But Lucario is, of course, fighting. And, of course, he looks like a big old blue doggy. Crotch Chop from Wrestling to Lucario. Yeah. Wrestling is in the DX army. Wow, 1 hit. Awesome. Super effective against Lucario's half steel type. And that's it for Bruno! Which, of course, is nothing like the movie. Thank God. Yeah, alright, so Bruno, you know, being the badass he is, you know, he's all like, oh, I got nothing left to say, just go battle the next one. Alright, so we're going to super speed while I heal up my Pokemans before we go ahead and battle Karen once again. And in the meantime, Jake Says Knee says, one of my favorite Pokemon memories is when I caught 2 random shiny Pokemon in 2 days! Was one of them a Ho-Oh? One day I caught a shiny Eradicate in the Union Cave, and the next day I caught a shiny Tangela in the route below Pallet Town. It was a huge moment for me because I usually have horrible luck with shinies. Oh, my favorite Pokemon is Luxray. Weavile! Yeah, awesome. I love how she has a Weavile. You know, I love Sneasel. It's friggin' so cool. I always loved Sneasel in Generation 2, but you know, that's just me. I've been saying through this whole playthrough, I love Generation 2 Pokemon. But there's just something about Sneasel, you know, probably because it's just half dark type and because it's just so rare. That just really made it awesome in my eyes. And the funny thing was, I remember when I first saw... Oh no, that's not so good. Being all frozen solid. I wish it still had that animation of like the giant block of ice around your Pokemon. It just doesn't feel the same when it's just like a bunch of little tiny icicles just like tinkling around your Pokemon. Ha, tinkle. Yeah, go ahead and use a full restore like they use against me. Take that, jerk face. But I remember when I first saw Weavile, I remember I was like, man, this Pokemon doesn't really look so cool. You know, I was like, kind of hoping to look a little bit cooler, and the stats weren't really that great in like comparison to like some other Pokemon. But you know, an evolution is an evolution, and when I look at it in HeartGold, I mean, look at that posture. This friggin' thing looks like it's about to tear you up, man. Spike 95 using Roost. Now, I did this strategically because I thought, you know, Roost makes flying type Pokemon lose their flying type for what was it, a turn or two. But I think, you know, it really would have helped if I had like Bulbapedia open or something. I don't remember if Ice is just normal effective against Steel. I could have sworn that, you know, Steel was just so resistant against, you know, 500 different types that Ice would be one of them. It's resistant against so much crap. It's insane. Alright, so, yeah, I love how Jake says, Niece says, I usually have horrible luck with shiny. So do I. Like, literally, like I said, I don't know if that's ever the first wild shiny I've ever found. You know, Ho-Oh, of course I'm talking about. But yes, it is 100% without a doubt the first shiny legendary I've ever found. It's, wow. Alright, so she's gonna call out... Oh crap, I saw it and then it just like went through one eye and out the other. I don't know. I don't remember what she was about to throw out here. But whatever it is, I got Houndoom, right. I got Blah in the case. And Stealth Rock doing serious damage to Houndoom. Now that's what I'm talking about. Being all fire type and weak against rock. Taking some serious damage from Stealth Rock. Shaman user 001 says, my favorite Pokemon memory, I would have to say when I got a hold of Pokemon Platinum, played through the game, and found out there was a Shaman event. To this day, I still have the exact same Shaman from long ago, about a year and a half, and also to this day, Shaman remains my all-time favorite Pokemon. Yeah, Shaman's pretty cool, but you know, that's just me being super biased against, or I mean, super biased for Psychic types. Psychic and Grass. There's only one other Pokemon that's Psychic and Grass, and of course it's also legendary. It's Celebi. Alright, so here we go with Spirit Tomb. One of the two Pokemon that have absolutely no weaknesses because they're Dark and Ghost. Okay, yeah, you know, go ahead and do Curse and just kill yourself. Thanks. That made things a lot easier. Wow, I like this guy's name. WTF dude, I'm no homo, says, my favorite Pokemon memory is when I was younger, my brother and I tried to catch Groudon as fast as we could in the Pokemon Ruby version. I let him go first, and it took him like 6 battles to catch him. On my first try, I threw a Pokeball right away just to see what would happen, and to my surprise, I caught it at full health. And my favorite Pokemon is Ditto, because, well, it can transform into any Pokemon you battle. Another one that really likes Ditto. Yeah, Ditto's pretty cool. Honchkrow, half flying type, weak against rock, serious damage from Stealth Rock. Why does he have Thunder Wave? Yeah, I swear, you know, it's like every one of these, like, really, you know, like, whoa, okay, crap, I forgot about fighting being weak to flying, despite the fact that I just battled Bruno. Whoops. You know, I was pretty much just thinking, oh yeah, you know, Wrestlin's got Rock Slide, I might as well just use it. Hopefully take him out in one hit. One hit, come on. Yeah, we go. Yeah, take that, Mr. Haunch. You and your fancy fedora-shaped feathers on your hat. Think who you are? Alright. So we got Absol coming out here. Another dark. You know, like, I'm just loving this. This is great. I'm loving all these dark-type Pokemon. Karen is a very, very interesting trainer to me because she loves dark-type Pokemon. And I love dark-type Pokemon. Look at Absol. I remember when I was playing Sapphire. Or, sorry, Ruby. I always think Sapphire because, you know, first gen I had blue. But anyway, when I was playing Ruby, and I remember I had an Absol on my team towards, you know, like the later part of the game. And I loved Absol. It's just so awesome. Look at that thing. That big scythe coming out of its head. How many times have I said that in this playthrough about Absol? Anyway. Silver Sonic 06 says, My best Pokemon memory was finally beating Whitney after one day of intense grinding. My favorite Pokemon is Mismagius because it is a very decent and good-looking ghost type. Now, when you say good-looking, what are you trying to say, mister? Anyway. Alright. So we're not going to talk about the physical attractiveness of Pokemon. We're just going to move on to this Absol getting totally nailed by Bug Buzz. Dark types weak against Bug types. Yeah! Taking him out in one hit. Yeah, like, I was like, you know, doing double team. I was like, yeah, deal with that, you know, and then he still hits me. I was like, okay, fine, be like that. Umbreon! Of course, Karen had this out first time when we battled her. Now it's last. This is far from being backed in the corner. You know, like, considering how powerful her Umbreon was the first time I battled it, I agree with that. And are we gonna take him out in one hit? No! Wow! That was a little bit too close. But wait a minute, it's out of, like, the super danger zone, so she might not use a full restore on it. Oh, man, this is getting pretty tense here. Is she gonna use a, full restore or not? Wow, everybody's just getting buffed here. You're no ordinary trainer. Oh, God, imagine if her voice was like that. Like Dr. Girlfriend. You're no ordinary trainer. No, that's not what whatever. Anyway. Umbreon totally taken down. And that's it for Karen's 6 Pokemon. That's another thing, you know, not only are, like, all the Elite Force Pokemon, like, super powerful now, but now they have 6 Pokemon instead of 5. Truly skilled trainers should try to win with the Pokemon they love best. I still completely agree with that. You know, I had, like, this big discussion in the comments, like, the first time around when I was talking about, like, how strong Pokemon or weak Pokemon is indeed a perception. And, like, some guy called me out on it, and he was like, nah, you're just being crazy. Like, there are strong weak Pokemon. I was just like, you know, I still agree with at least the fact that she says that, you know, trainers should try to win with the Pokemon that they love the best. And that's what I'm doing here. I love my Pokemon. They're my only friends. And that's it for this part of the Pokemon SoulSilver playthrough. And speaking of my Pokemon, the next part is going to be the final, absolutely final part of the Pokemon SoulSilver playthrough. That's going to be it. Yes, believe it or not, it is coming to a close. I will see you all next time for the last time.